On this right side, I'm going to put a little bit more flesh here to kind of provide a transition. Seems like the Beaster color is lower on this side, and there's a lot more of the kind of cream color coming up. Maybe some nougat, and then we can add some tufts on the right. Start adding these tufts like on this side. Start with some nougat. So the key to the layers, I think, I mean, there's so many different techniques, but is to add them slowly and then use light pressure in the beginning. And as you go, you can increase pressure. So that does a couple things for me. It means that if I mess up, like if I start to put a color down and it looks bad, then I might be able to salvage that if I'm using light pressure. And then it also gives you a depth, more colors. It's more interesting to the eye. I think I was confused when I first started doing colored pencils. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, because there are so many different colors that you can buy, which is great, and it does make it easier, but I guess I thought you could just put one color down that matches the best and have that be it. But as I've used them over time, that's not really how I've come to use them at all. Just one color. And some people will go through and pick what colors they want before, but I don't have a lot of patience, I guess. And I'd rather just figure it out as I go. Which might make sense to you as you watch me and you're like, well, wait a minute, you said you were gonna do this, but then you do that, and then like me deciding to add the background. That's why, because I don't know what I'm doing until I start doing it. I mean, you can kind of have an idea of how you want to proceed, but if something doesn't look good, I want to be able to change course. Just adding some ivory on top, kind of smooth it a little bit. Probably use that Caran dash at some point. Now there is some lovely orange in there, so that probably needs some burnt ochre. And maybe burnt sienna too, but burnt ochre first if I can find it. There it is. Okay. Kind of just glazing it on here. What's odd about this paper is sometimes, I don't know if you can see it, but I'll just be laying the pencil down like I have been in other spots, and then sometimes there'll just be this piece of pigment that just gets stuck. That's kind of irritating. All right, so let's do, I know these need some darker hairs, but I'd like to start on this ear. I have to move my camera a little bit. Erase my lines. Just lightening these. I'm not going to worry about totally erasing these right now because since I figured out we're going to do the background, it doesn't really matter. And they'll be good to have as guides. All right, I think that's good. So, good old ivory. Better not have that line right there. Good color for the base. Flesh. I hope you won't be able to see that line through this. My pencil line. So I like kitty cats. I like all animals. Except for mosquitoes. Because they're classed as animals too. I don't like flies. But anyway, we don't have a cat. We have a stray cat that we feed outside and he's so wild. I don't know if it's a he or she. I just call it a he. And he's been around for like 5 years. And he finally has gotten to the point where he kind of comes around when we feed him and watches us from afar. But I'm pretty sure he would never let us, warm grade 1, pet him or anything like that. And my dog Addie, she hates him. She actually ran through the barbed wire fence one time to try and get him and then had to have stitches on her chest. She's really a huntress, so I could never have a cat. She would probably eat it. An inside cat. Okay. Pea star and nougat. I'm gonna go ahead and put some of these lines in I see. I don't know if you can see that, but this is what I'm talking about. It's like a sharp line. Kind of going for soft here, but Making these kind of teardrop shapes I'm seeing on the eye. On the eye. On the ear. This is where the hair inside of the ear starts to turn, and it's got kind of this yellowy shadow. Yeah, he's dreaming. Okay. I'm gonna go back with the burnt sienna and put some darker lines above the ears. I haven't drawn a cat in a while. Back to the side. It's easier for me to draw the one on the right because of the way I have this camera set up. Okay, I want to use this dark sepia just to outline the ear on the right. I think it's helpful how there's these tufts on this, the one on the left, although we could probably make them a little bit stronger. The contrast is really what's going to make the animal look realistic. So we'll keep pushing everything, making it darker. You can't really make things lighter with this type of paper, so. I mean, you can a little with pastel matte. You can get some lights on the darks, but not with this stuff. So we'll just have to darken. We'll have to try and preserve the lights and darken the darks. Okay. And we can always put black in there too, but I would wait until... Okay, so I'm gonna grab the white. I'm not sure if this really works in this manner. I've heard that the Polychromos white acts as kind of a resistor. So meaning other pencils don't lay over top of it as well, which is why I had us draw in the white fur on the other side. I don't think it worked, but we might as well be balanced. There's two other things you can do with this. You could, on this type of paper, you could indent using an embossing tool where the hairs are, so that when you color over it, the pencil doesn't get into it, so it preserves it. Or you can put a waxy pencil down, like a Prismacolor or a Caran d'Ache Luminance first, and then that will serve as like a base that when you add on other colors on top of, you can scrape the other colors off of. A little bit, like you have to be careful. I'm just using the flesh to put this piece in right here. I'm gonna try and preserve some hairlines. These ears can be really tricky. These shapes. These lines are probably too big, and they probably are over here too, on this other ear. Just darken them later. Okay, where else do we have that pink? Well, it's not really pink, but we'll layer on top of it. I'm drinking a soda, which probably isn't the best thing. Well, have a microphone on my shirt. A little bit up here. Okay, certainly doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to give the illusion of the fur over the ears. Okay. So I think maybe a base of cool gray 1, and then we'll put shadows in. So when I'm thinking of the base, I'm thinking of the lightest hairs I can see are probably cool gray 1. And then we can put some warm gray shapes in there to signify the shadows in between the hairs. So when I'm selecting my color that I'm gonna lay down like this, I look for the lightest color on the area that I'm working on. Should really get rid of those pencil marks. I'm just going to stop at the edge of the ear. Figure this part out later. Usually white isn't white when you are looking at something on a picture. This Tombow does a lot better on this paper than that Faber-Castell thing. Whew. Just lightening these, I want to be able to see them. Okay. So maybe working from the edge here inward or outward, maybe. Maybe do, I'm just looking at the color on my iPad. Let's see if warm gray 2 does anything. If not, up it to 3. I think this one's pretty good. Kind of just hopping around. So I'm just looking for the shapes in between the ear hairs. Shadows. pencil really needs to be sharp for this. So I find it helpful to spin my pencil. It kind of helps to keep it sharp. Just kind of mimicking the direction that the hairs are going in. This is kind of yellow right here. Right there. Okay. Putting some more color in on this side. Put a little bit more color. Maybe some cinnamon. It brings a nice warm color to the ears. Maybe down here, more ivory and a little bit of cream. Let's do some, oh, we already did nougat. So maybe some dark sepia. I'm just going light with this because you could make really dark lines if you wanted to. Just kind of increasing some shadows. It's not really any dark shadows in the ear. I'm just kind of looking for anything that might need a little bit of darkening. Definitely need to work on this bit. This side is a little bit more, I don't know, orangey. Let's try some caput mortuum. Just drew right over my hair right there. No bueno. That's not bad. Okay, picking up cold gray 1. Just going to use that to fill in these tiny hairs. I think I'm going to need to refine this area, but just a little bit in here. And then let's get some warm gray 3 to deepen these shadows in between the hairs. Now I won't put that everywhere, just wherever I see the darker shadows in between the ear hairs or the ear fur. This area is a little bit darker. Oh, that's my pup, Cozy. You okay, Cozy? Probably put some more color in there, maybe. Some beige or, what's that called? Red beige? Cozy, okay. Beige red. He's been doing that a little today. I don't know if he has allergies. We took him to the park. Right here, I'm seeing kind of a yellowish color. I'll put some ivory and see if that'll work. Might need something stronger. That might work. So we can refine that later when we do the background. So we were using this Caput Mortem Violet, which worked pretty well inside the ear. Just gonna go over a little bit more, see if I can. I don't really want it darker, I just want to straighten my shapes. Maybe some cinnamon. These shapes are kind of wonky. Okay, so it looks like kind of a weird triangle right there. So I'm gonna do some shadowing around it. So warm gray 1. Tiny bit of Beaster here for some shadows. That really helps to up the yellow factor. I got a miss right there. So right now I'm just kind of trying to clean up edges and look back at the ear and make sure it makes sense. I'm going to use this curving in too, because if you look in those shadows, they're really kind of a yellowy gray coming in. Probably do some, I don't know, nougat or something else too. That's my dishwasher going again. Maybe some burnt sienna. I always have some kind of noise in the background, I'm sorry. My setup is in the kitchen, well, in the living room, but it's connected. Just layering. Putting some kind of random burnt siennas in here to add some more hair texture. So I like to wait till I get a good base and then I start doing that. Maybe some more warm gray too. I'm not sure where it is. I'm always getting these crumblies with this paper and my pencils. Okay, I'm ready to do the base of this ear. A little bit. So, let's do some ivory. So I'm just going in the direction of the fur. I'm gonna go ahead and color over here, but I better move this. Okay. Instead of the warm gray one here, I'm going to do two, but I'm not going to try and cover the whole thing. Just going to do some upward strokes. some flesh. Maybe some beester. Okay, so on this side too, there's some white lines. Okay, so to build this area, we'll put this down first, and then, so for the stripes of the cat, it's easiest to go kind of top down. So you'd go put this layer down, build it, and then start putting the black, or I think I would start with dark sepia to denote the stripe right there. So this isn't, I mean, it is a base, but I'm not covering the whole thing here. I'm just trying to make it look like natural fur. So vary your strokes and make them go in different directions, so it doesn't look like a picket fence or something. So I started doing that on the other side, but not majorly. Okay. Probably put some sporadic burnt sienna in there, hairs, especially where it's darker. So right here. This spot is pretty dark. Just use a sepia. Dark sepia. Back to the beaster. Okay. Maybe like a warm gray 3. I'm just kind of mapping this spot in right now. We can darken it later. Okay. So let's do the top of the head, and then we'll just put some ivory on the sides because it's really light before we do the background. I'm going to put where the head is right here. If you can see in the reference, it's a different color because of the sun. So I'm going to shade this with cold gray 1 right here. I'm going to get rid of this pencil mark. I like to keep my pencil marks until I get to that area, otherwise, you know, I've lost my marker. Just makes it a little easier. Okay, so I'm just gonna shade this in. I'm just lightening those because I put those on there. I can see what I was talking about when I did that. So it's a good marker for me. Okay. Then I'm going to do cold gray 2. Here. Okay, so then I'm going to start drawing some fur. lines. Let's get cold gray 4. Okay, before we do the fur lines, it's kind of fuzzy in this little section of his head because it's out of focus. So I'm just going to color in the shapes I see using cold gray 4. It's got some other colors in there, like blue, probably from the sky, and maybe some purple. So I'm not doing fur marks here, just kind of looking for the shapes I see, and we'll build on it. I want to make sure I leave that. Hopefully I have that wide enough. Okay, so I'm getting to the edge of this kind of cream tuft. So I gotta be careful to preserve that. Okay. Getting the top of his head.